Hello everyone, welcome to ZSR. Today we have another Zelda 2 Randomizer, Max Rando Tournaments 2022, Swiss Round 3, Para vs Xarnax. I'm Sour. On comms today we have Elendar and Mirai. How are you two doing?
Oh, doing good. Sorry, Elendar's name came first, so I handed it off. I was going to just hand it off to him first.
I didn't realize that was what we were doing, but hello everybody. It's gonna be a good one today. It's a 1-1 match between Para and Xarnax. Para, I think, new-ish to the randomizer. It's not her first tournament, but Xarnax, an old-timey veteran of the Z2 scene.
Yeah, I don't know how long Para's been around, but definitely at least since Max Rando of last year, if not a little earlier. And as you say, Xarnax definitely is old enough to have a walker or a cane at this point. He's a hardened veteran. Also, speedrunner Xarnax, super familiar with a lot of the game and the randomizer itself. So if we have something a little punishing today, he might have the edge. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Xarnax's combat is pretty good. I know definitely if you want to say weakness that Xarnax has had in some of his recent races, is he's not quite as familiar with some of the routing and exits, especially on Vanilla Shuffle. We saw Xarnax take his one loss so far this tournament to just not knowing about one of the transport bridges on Vanilla Shuffled West. And so maybe if we get some funky overworld, Para could have the advantage there.
Elendar bringing up old stuff. The bridge. Anyway.
Yeah, the bridge is real.
The bridge is definitely real.
And we've got islands here on a 4-gemmer at 2 lives and 3 hearts is a bit weak.
No items to start. Absolutely none. So if we need any, we're going to have to go find them.
Yeah, and it looks like we've got a couple options theoretically off the start. We've got a pass-through cave in Saria, but I didn't catch what Fire Fairy was. 104, so Saria pass-through definitely not available quite yet. But if this cave turns out to be an item or something, we may have a required grind at the start.
Yeah, and these encounters are little beefy.
Yeah, it's mixed large and small enemies has decided that means all large enemies all the time.
Yeah, that's a tough, just get into that cave in the north. 2 lives as well. 2 lives, very, very punishing.
Yeah, we do get a pass through though. It looks like it's going to be Paratroopa Cave here. We'll see if there's good stuff on the other end or the Saria grind will continue.
Xarnax was taking that encounter there. I think he wanted some juicy experience, but it was just an open road encounter there in the desert.
And a quick sign of Death Mountain with a raft tile. But it doesn't look like there's any available caves, so without boots or the raft, it's going to be a quick dead end.
Just doing a quick refresh here. I see that on Xarnax's side, and Para is on a bridge at this point.
Yeah, it's just so far the path is pretty linear. You got this entrance into Death Mountain you can take, but nothing to do there, and then beyond that, it's just the bridge.
There's always something that islands biomes can force the runners to do, is that if you don't have the boots or you don't have even early access to the boots, islands are going to be pretty linear, and that's what we're seeing right off the bat here.
Yeah, it seems to me like you always either get a really, really linear setup or you get like a million forks right off the start, and it's just a huge mess.
And then where the boots are at can be an absolute gamble. I mean, they might not even find the boots for a while, but then, of course, now that I say that, they're going to find it in the next cave, naturally. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, Xarnax making it to the second bridge, but Para taking a game over to this tough early combat. And
not having downstab to start in this is somewhat punishing as well.
Yeah, we haven't seen it from either of our runners, but they did start with upstab, but that's a limited use here on the bridge.
Xarnax taking it slow, but still taking the bop and the game over. For those that are not familiar with Xarnax, talking about he was a speedrunner, still is a speedrunner, and he is very I guess he's well known, perhaps. Perhaps he's well known for the 1-3-1 category in vanilla. And what that means is you beat the entire game with only attack 1, magic 3, and life 1. So he is familiar with some rough conditions. And so once he adapts to this, I'm sure he'll be good to go.
Yeah, it looks like both Xarnax and Para, after that second game over, are just saying, nope, it's grind time. Para's exploring a bunch of different available terrain types here. Going to see if there's an encounter that's good for grinding and just force that.
Yeah, this is not 5 experience from some of these enemies. This is not really prime grind spot here. 2 bops right off the bat on Xarnax's side. Kind of a tough encounter, a lot of boomerangs, got javelins, and a 200-point P-bag. Well, that might be enough, but it might not.
Yeah, the big question is, how much magic do you need to cast Fairy? If they could get enough, then they can forget that cave and just cross Saria. Maybe that's a little bit kinder terrain.
Yeah, we have seen some races recently. One of them was actually not restreamed. I'll bring it up. It's the Willard J. Bradley and Ghost Dunk match where they started on an islands biome and they had to grind to, I believe it was Magic 5 before they could cast Fairy to get off of it through Saria, and that was it. There was nothing else on the island other than North Palace and Saria. Very similar to this setup, except this one has a cave that gets us off of here as well. So we're seeing that somewhat recently, and so it's unfortunate that that's the setup. It's usually not the setup, but I don't know, a few times in this tournament it has been.
Yeah, I like it when there's at least a second option to Saria. You're like, well, do I want to try and grind out to cross Saria, or do I want to try and take this cave that maybe leads to something good, maybe not?
Exactly.
Having at least the one option is nice, but Para taking a quick game over and deciding, nope, back to the grind.
Yeah, and this sort of punishing setup, again, the 3 heart containers, 2 lives, taking a lot of deaths. We've seen several game overs at this point. This can be, this can be demoralizing for the runners early on. They think that they're the ones getting punished and their opponent is perhaps taking off and is, three islands ahead of them. They have the boots already, things like that. So it's something you just kind of have to just play the seed and just stick to it and grind away if you feel you need to grind away, and then move forward. Because guess what? Your opponent might be right next to you, as you're seeing right here.
Yeah, both runners have decided that this graveyard is the best place to grind out XP. It's got a couple of small enemies, and we do know that we've seen 200-point P-bags in the small enemy pool, so I don't blame them. Ooh. Para, knowing that she took a bit of a bad jump, and just takes it up an A before the game over screen comes up.
We saw Magic 2 from Xarnax. Okay, I was not sure if Fairy was castable at this point. Apparently it's not, or else we'd probably see a Saria check at this point. But still going to the cave here for Xarnax. Yeah,
and Para deciding to conserve her life at full so she could do beam strats, just take it real easy here.
Seen slightly different leveling here. 2-2-2 on Xarnax's side, 1-2-3 on Para's side.
Yeah, I think I like the leveling. I think I like the life-heavy leveling. Just with how bad this beginning is, just like anything to help you get over this bridge and get to at least a palace that you could get XP easier in, or some extra items to make the combat not so tough.
Yeah, I thought Xarnax might be going in and trying to bank on more shield casts and giving him more effective life right off the bat, but we have not seen him cast shield on this bridge just yet, taking a little bit of damage, and it's going to be, one more hit from this point, it's going to be game over or death here.
Yeah, Magic 2 was a pretty good reduction. It's going to give him, looks like 3 casts instead of the 1 he had at Magic 1.
Yeah, that's a little dangerous being on that side of the bridge. I probably would have stepped off the bridge and come back into the bridge just to make sure that when I died, I didn't have to rewalk the entire bridge again.
Para's made it past the bridge and gotten a hint for the glove in Maze Island. Always, basically the best hint you could get is knowing where the glove is.
Was that from King's Tomb? Did I just completely miss
that? Was in King's Tomb. Xarnax has got to set up now to farm Bagos, who are in the small enemy group and could theoretically drop him 200 points, but not cooperating so far.
Yeah, and for anyone who's not familiar, those birds are absolutely useless other than just causing him damage. They're not part of any group. They don't drop anything, and even in this case, they don't even drop any experience, which is generally how that works. So only the Bago kills are going to be shifting him through the small enemy drop pool here, and he's just getting these 30-point bags.
Yeah, 30 points, not great. But he's at least going to pick up a level off this pretty soon. I think this is going to be life 3, unfortunately, for him, but not awful. There's the 200 points, and he's going to take magic, yeah.
Yeah, and even early game here, 10 experience off of those heads, not the worst thing in the world. We were seeing, blue moblins, which were super beefy, only giving 20 experience. So it's like, would you rather fight a blue moblin who's going to do more damage to you, or would you rather just fight a Bago Bago that you're going to be able to kill in one hit, for half the experience? And so if you're just going to grind, find something easy to grind off of, especially small enemy drop pool. There's 200 points bags in there, and that seemed to be Xarnax's strategy there.
Yeah, Para picking up life spell, and there's a second town it looks like she's on her way up to. I don't know if she's checked that one. I don't think she's checked it yet, but she's taking a look at this bridge. She must have checked it already. Nope, she's going back. I was gonna say towns are basically the best thing you can get right now, but I actually don't know. I think that they may have pretty good information about all of the available spells just from their starting layout.
So I don't know if Xarnax stepped into King's Tomb. I don't think he did.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, and that's gonna suck. That's gonna be a really good hint. Yeah. Okay, so they did start with knowledge of all of the spells. Now that they both picked up life, the only remaining spell they have is in Saria, which they know that town is not.
Yeah,
but
Chroma in chat. Hello, first of all, hello, sir. Second of all, pointing out that fairy is castable here at Magic 3, 47 magic points on Xarnax's side.
Yeah, but now once you're already past the bridge, it's kind of like, well, might as well explore this while I'm here.
Yeah, but also something, perhaps an emergency maneuver that needs to be had if you're in again, one of those encounters that is all just red Dairas. It's nice to just be able to ferry out of that.
Yeah, as they get further north here, it's looking like the starting location was actually pretty far south. So I wonder how much there actually is with Saria being a downward exit on the bridge.
Yeah. One thing I do want to point out here, while Paris still has Attack 1 generally, well, now that they've just picked up Attack 2, but Attack 1 generally leaves the Bago Bagos and the birds and all of those enemies to take 2 hits as opposed to just getting 1 shot. And that was kind of the downside to leaving yourself at Attack 1 there. Going into that encounter that she was just in, the Bago Bagos are dangerous in that area, and 2 hits for a Bago Bago is not really what you want at that stage. So just kind of pointed it out very quickly and very poorly, but regardless.
Yeah, Para gets into an unfortunate grass encounter with those 4 large enemies all at once. And
the one you could wish you could ferry out of.
Yeah, and unfortunately she still only has magic 2, so not going to be able to either ferry out of that or check Saria.
Yeah, that's also huge as well, because as we saw on Xarnax's side, he now has downstab. So knowing that as long as you can get fairy castable or even jump if you've got an early game, which our runners do not, but either one of those you can get those castable, you know that when you hit Mito, you will be able to pick up downstab if you don't already have it. And that's going to be huge, especially in these lower resource starts.
Yeah, for sure. In addition to being great at killing enemies, also just great at skipping enemies. You get into one of those bad encounters, you're like, nope, I'm just bouncing over. Goodbye.
Seeing kind of a dead end there across that bridge, that Para first inspected, then headed back. Xarnax went across it. There's nothing over there. I think we're going to get a Saria check here with the fairy spell. Just kidding.
It thinks about it, and it's only 47. Changing his mind again, back into it.
Interesting. Must have been a bad restart. He didn't like that restart. He's like, I'm going to restart again.
Yeah, just RNG manipulation. It's
Yeah. That's the speedrunner mentality. How can I manip this RNG? It's definitely not in my favor. We need to up an A.
We got a Bagu sighting in the south. We always saw south.
Probably not too important. Given we can just cross. But I guess if you wanted to come across here with some magic in reserve, it might maybe be nice to have a Bagu sighting, especially since you only have 2 lives.
Chroma caught it. He had life queued up instead of fairy and just burned his magic. And a quick update to fix that problem. we're going to get a spell setting here. I don't know if they checked the sign, but I don't think it matters. I think you're going to take pretty much whatever you can get here. It is fire, which is castable, and it looks like it's shield.
No, I think he's green to begin with.
Oh, it's just it's difficult to tell. Xarnax's capture is a little funky.
Yeah, I think
so not shield, it's not life, not fairy. We're still going to need some more information as Xarnax fills up his magic in order to get that information.
I guess we don't know if it's life because he did come across here with full life from start.
Yeah, could still be life, thunder, spell, or reflect. We'll likely see Xarnax take an intentional hit here in the next encounter and try to get some more information. Ooh.
Oh.
Well...
Vacation resort on the other side of Saria. No valid information or routing over there for sure. So,
I love how the water was just long enough that you couldn't tell what was on the other side.
Yes, exactly. There's
the
confirmation.
Spell. Well, that's going to be of limited value since they already have the spell, but could potentially come in handy. In one of those, something like that difficult grass encounter, you could just turn all of the enemies into little loaders and walk right past them.
Yeah, even thinking ahead to something like palaces that may have a lot of doom knockers or blue iron knuckles that are just annoying to get past, and smaller corridors and stuff that you might just not want to fight or try to downstab your way through. You can just spell your way out of all of that nonsense.
Para's gotten all the way to the north of this western section and finds our first item cave of the scene 15 minutes in.
Let's hope it was worth it.
Ooh, red dire.
A lot of red dire's in here, yeah.
Oof. All right. She's still got a life remaining. We'll see if she's going with the shield spell. I was thinking, do you try to fight that red dire to get that extra experience, or do you just hit the fairy spell and forget it? Well, not great experience anyway.
Oh,
the boots! The best possible item from that cave.
So Para is equipped with Maze Island equals glove information as well as boots now on the feet, giving her the ability to walk all over the water. Xarnax dipping into a palace, unfortunately, without that information. So anything, I don't know. We have two different routes at this point.
Yeah. Thankfully, Maze Island is a place that it's easy enough to get the items usually, that if Xarnax finds it, he probably will check it while he's there. But if he decides to dig out the item in this palace, every palace he digs out that Para doesn't have to because of her hint is going to be a big time gain.
Yeah, but flip the script on that. If Xarnax is digging out item locations without the glove knowledge, maybe he'll come across some of those coveted heart containers that'll give him the edge in routing, depending on how tough GP is. If Para never picks up another heart container because of that could hurt. There's still some potential here. If you don't have that hint and you're looking around for things, I'm not sure.
I want to see
theory crafting.
I want to see raft required to get to Maze Island and have it be in one of these palaces.
Granted.
Right? We just get into a situation where both our runners have half the puzzle and need to
yes.
finish it up.
Especially, as you said, it's a 1-in-1 match here. So for those not familiar at this point, it's 5 rounds of Swiss. We're currently in 3rd round here. This is the final match of this round. And after this is over later tonight, Alan Hefley will be rolling round 4, and we'll see what happens. But it is 3 wins to secure your spot in brackets. So whoever wins here has a chance to get to brackets. Otherwise, it is going to be... well, I guess they still have a chance, though. So they're both 1-1. So yeah, they still have a chance. Never mind. Yep. I was building some drama there, but you know what? No drama.
Oh, there's drama. All right. One of us is rooting for Xarnax42 to lose here.
I didn't want to bring that up, but now that you have.
It's important that we get our Grud match in, and since I'm 1-2, I'm going to need Xarnax to lose this one.
Well, Para is equipped with the information to make that happen currently, so I would say Para is in the better spot, especially with that item we just see there in P3.
Yeah, at the very least, though, Xarnax not going to have to... It's not costing him any time to
Very
dig
true.
out that item. He just gets the information. Okay, I can keep going, kill the boss, get out of here. No need to worry.
Yeah, I believe Para is in. If she's not in Fairy Cave, then she's in Heart Container Cave. It is Heart Container Cave. Okay.
Okay, flute still could be useful. We haven't seen our East yet, so could be a vanilla East. Oof. Xarnax thinking about leaving.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt. That's a little bit of time spent there where he could have probably been making progress toward Magic Container Cave where he needs to go.
Yeah, Para coming out of Heart Container Cave, gonna find 3 or 6. A nice lavender color.
I think this is the east. Am I wrong?
It could be
on the west.
We don't really know what most of the west looks like. I think she just
action here.
I think she just walked. Yeah, okay. This is definitely the west. This is where Mido was, and she's gonna pick up her downstab now that she can cast Fairy.
Yeah, the only thing worse for Xarnax on this side, the only thing worse than the Bagos are having the birds on this encounter, which he's also going to have here. So this is, the birds make it difficult because you're already so high to the top of the screen, and the birds generally, they have to come down from the sky down to Link's level and then shoot over. But you're already so close to the top of the sky that you don't get a chance to see them come down, and you don't really get a chance to gauge where they're at before they just start shooting in your direction when you're that high up on those platforms on that water platform tile encounter, whatever its official name is.
Yeah, we got a life spell sighting from Xarnax. Recovered at least 2 bars. Couldn't quite see if it was 2 or 3, but not completely awful.
Have we had a fire recheck since our initial one?
We did. Fire is a spell.
Oh, that's right. Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am completely checked out here.
And Xarnax, I think this he only has 1 life here, and is very, very low on health.
Yeah, this is not good. There's going to be
makes it through these boots. Oh no! He does have a life. He has to pick up. Oh, that's right. He was very low on health, and cast the life spell there. But okay, so he has seen that this is the boots, and he's not even going to try to get the experience. Just pick up his boots, play it safe. Yeah, man, only 2 lives. There was some discussion yesterday as to whether a 1 heart start or a 2 life start is worse, and this is kind of a little bit of the worst of both worlds.
Did you see what was on Para's side there?
I did. That's the magical key. That's going to be handy because Para's rapidly approaching everything she needs to beat the seed. We still need to find Maze Island. We still need to find the East, but so far, the only transport we've seen is a connection to Death Mountain.
Yeah, and it was very restricted. We weren't able to see a lot of that. I believe we probably had some water over on the east side of it, but we didn't go check any of the caves. We didn't see anything further than the small little area that we first started in.
Yeah, now that Para has the boots, she could check some more of it, but not surprisingly, she's going to check out every single item cave on the west to avoid the dreaded possibility of having to dig into Death Mountain.
So Xarnax sort of evening the score here with boots and the magic key, just missing the flute. Not sure if that's going to be useful, but also missing the location of the glove, which is in King's Tomb, as we know it is. Well, the glove is not in King's Tomb, but the hint itself is in King's Tomb that Para saw earlier, and the glove does reside in Maze Island. So that's the only thing he's missing at this point. We'll see if he can find Maze Island. Maze Island is one of those things you generally check, though, so as long as he can find it, he will definitely dig it. So,
yeah, grass tile sighting for Para, just a mostly useless candle.
Yeah, but on three hearts, 2 lives, and taking a lot of damage, it's nice to see the enemies for sure.
Yeah. And I think this is our last item cave here is going to be P-Bag Cave.
Did we see Trophy Cave?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I don't think we have. Oh, Hard Container. That's another big pickup.
Man, Para Para seems like she's just steps ahead of Xarnax, but then Xarnax is right there with the boots in the same exact location, about to find his candle, about to dig into what we call Pillar Cave / Peabag Cave, Vanilla Peabag Cave. As Para exits, Xarnax is about to walk in there, and this is going to be our third palace here on the west.
Yep, Para's gonna dig it. I didn't catch the stab there, whether this is 2 or 5.
Did we see 5? You know what?
Looks like it's 2. If I recall those windows correctly.
Yeah. 5 is more like a stained glass look, I believe.
Here's the fake dead end room. No glove, can't check the P-bag. A little curious, we've seen 230 point P-bags. We still haven't seen the third type in the pool.
I feel that they can roll the same. It's almost like there's going to be like 230s and a 200. I don't know if they have to be different. It
is possible. I know there's 3 P-bags in the pool sort of representing the 50, 200, and 500 point P-bags in vanilla, but I am fairly certain they can roll the same. So you could get 230s and a 200 in the possibilities.
Xarnax showing off his downstab skills on that blue iron knuckle in the low hallway corridor area. They're very nice. I hope we get to see a Guma kill. We probably won't with just 4 gems to place, but maybe we'll get to see a Xarnax Guma kill, which is usually pretty impressive. I don't know how exciting he's gonna, I don't know how exciting it is to go in on Guma at such low life levels and low heart containers, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's usually pretty terrifying, but I know Xarnax is very comfortable with the fight.
Yeah, Para running into a fairy blocked room there, no magic, and I don't believe they had another life in reserve, so that was an up and A and try for another path here.
No, just take the elevator down. That's easy enough.
That's funny. I was wondering, I think I've said this in numerous Xarnax races where he doesn't, well, neither did Para, I guess, right off the bat. Neither one of them checked the elevator all the way down. That's going to be, that's going to be one of the first things you want to do here in 4.0. I talk about it as if it's new. It's been out for over a year now, but you need to check those elevators all the way down, all the way up, because the boss room could just simply be attached to one of those. Same thing with the item rooms as well, can be attached to these elevators. So elevators are priority real estate. You need to be checking all the way up, all the way down, as Para has shown us here.
Yeah, it's the quickest way to check rooms. Elevatoring from one room to the next is the fastest transition between any room by far, and you just check so many rooms so quickly. We'll see how much XP this is worth, but probably not per level. 1 up.
Nice to see for a Thunderbird fight if required in GP.
Xarnax doing a quick little swag pickup. 1-up's also in the large enemy pool here for Xarnax. It's a good thing to know in case GP turns out nasty.
Yes. Unfortunately, though, he seems to be down a rabbit hole here, perhaps. I don't know if this is a loop back to the beginning. No, it is not.
Yeah, it's a loop back to a different elevator. If it were a loop back to the beginning, he would find the boss fairly quickly, but unfortunately, just not getting good luck on his routing. He's gonna... still a possibility. We haven't seen the item here yet. Para has left without obtaining it, so Xarnax, again, not knowing about that glove hint. Maybe a blessing, maybe a curse.
That was close. That was a nice block.
Oh, expertly navigates that dripper pillar room. Oh! I say immediately commentator cursing him.
Para over here in Death Mountain going to show us if we do have any additional connectors that are easy to see. Actually looks River Canyon here. Actually, he's going to move north instead.
Yeah, it wasn't really visible what the biome was from the start, but with the boots, being able to walk up this canyon is going to be very nice. No hammer, though, so just going to be able to check a lot of caves quickly rather than get an easy item. Xarnax has found the item room. It's a horsehead item room.
Yeah, I'm going to call this to attention here. Para at life 3, still taking a full heart container of damage from the MOAs in those encounters here in Death Mountain, whereas Xarnax is at life 5 and probably taking a good amount of less damage overall.
Xarnax, reloading the horsehead room, wants to make sure he doesn't despawn this item if it's one of the items that can despawn from it. Gets a heart container.
Yeah, the only thing that can do, if your scroll lock disengages when you kill the boss, that just means it's going to be a small item and it is automatically picked up for you at that point. You can't actually despawn like a full-on progression item in that particular room.
Yeah, I know. There's some bugs associated with it that are related to the locking.
It's a very cool trick, though. If you know how to do it, you can actually kill the boss twice, and if they're dropping something big like 500-point B-bags, you can score that twice. We might have a Maze Island bridge here over on Paraside.
Yeah, it's definitely a bridge. We'll see where it leads. Well, it's the east, which is good, but still not Maze Island.
So might be raft, could be still a connector. We have a connector cave and a raft still at large at this point.
Yep, and unfortunately that connector cave could really be anywhere, including hanging out in the middle of Death Mountain.
Yes.
Parrot at the least gonna check out her 2 items here in New Kasuto. 7 containers required. Oof.
I don't know if Xarnax is just exhausting and making sure that he has definitely double or triple checked every area here on the west. Might have forgotten about the Death Mountain connector early on, or maybe he thinks he's missing Trophy Cave, because I still think we're missing Trophy Cave, so I don't know.
Yeah, he definitely, according to his tracker, doesn't have Heart Container Cave or Trophy Cave marked, and I'm fairly certain he's gotten Heart Container Cave, but we know for a fact that he has not found Trophy Cave, because unless we all missed it.
Yeah, Heart Container Cave is actually going to be the flute, so I think he has.
Maybe he hasn't found it yet. Yeah. Well, he's at least gonna take a dip into this palace and see if he can clear this.
Looks like we had the hammer in Spell Tower.
Xarnax immediately decides the palace isn't for him. Gonna check. Okay, this is Heart Container Cave.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Para sees a 3-eyed rock over on the east here. If so, could be a palace, could be GP, could be in play. So it's not really going to be a big deal at this point, seeing as both of our runners have it. But it's something that could have come into play, and it could come into play in any future race as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, since this is a dry canyon east, we are extremely unlikely to see a River Devil requirement.
Yeah.
Xarnax rethinking his opinion on this 3 or 6.
He knows it's 6 because he's been in 3.
Para just getting a P-bag on Desert Tile, but full 500 points is going to be enough to get like 4.
I would be very interested to know how much those orange Lozolfos are worth, especially at these lower levels, that the experience could roll something like 300 for them, and that would be so worth it if you could kill them early on.
200 points for a Doom Knocker. Not a bad return. Getting some slowdown here from Para, and she definitely casts the spell to get rid of those enemies and get out.
That's the way to do it.
She did cast spell itself rather than fire. I don't think she's checked what fire spell is yet. Oh no, that might have been fire. It was actually just 52 points to cast fire still here at Magic 3. Might actually be cheaper just to cast spell.
Yeah.
Old Kasuto is Vanilla Thunder. So, mark one more thing off the potentially required items for Para.
Yeah, I wonder if Xarnax would be digging these palaces as he is with the information that Maze Island has the glove. I wonder if that would change up his routing at this point.
Yeah, it's hard to say, especially because, Xarnax is probably starting to think at this point as well. He's got to go through Death Mountain, and just any amount of anything you could do before going to Death Mountain seems like a good deal.
I agree.
At the very least, maybe these palaces, they'll definitely give you experience, and maybe they'll give you some helpful items to help get through. All right, Para utilizing this hammer. This is Trophy Cave. And on her way back through Death Mountain, probably will also get a Spectacle Rock sighting. Usually on a canyon biome, it's pretty close to the river.
It's going to be a tough room for Xarnax here.
I was going to say just a hard container in Trophy Cave, but honestly, I think our runners are probably very happy about a hard container.
Yeah, Para took a game over on the Moa in Old Kasuto on the way out from grabbing Thunder. I did see that, but forgot to mention it. So they're back on the west, and there it is. Yeah, hammer-blocked Trophy Cave. Very interesting.
Yeah, like this with the hammer-blocked Trophy Cave and the ability to get Spec Rock here, this death isn't going to be too costly since you can pick up a couple items on the way. But we'll see. Looks like Para not really looking... Oh, Para already had a spotting of Spectacle Rock. I was going to say, usually with a candy, you at least move a little bit to the east and west of the river, sort of sticking your eyes out, see if you can find the rock, but it's right next to it.
Nice. Very nice pickup there.
Magic Container, that's 6 of 7 required for the last new Kasuto item.
Xarnax really wanting to go in on these blue iron knuckles, but it's kind of getting him in trouble. He did just get another attack level, but that's going to be a death. One of his 2 lives here in this Palace 6.
Yeah, really good mashing there on the jackhammer. Oh yeah, but just taking a bop every time he comes up. And even that looked like 11 or 12 hits, still not enough to kill a blue iron knuckle.
Oh, I think it was kind of, we're getting to the point of sunk cost there. He's like, I want to kill this thing, but it might kill me. That is unfortunate. I don't know how deep he was really into P6 here, if he had any alternate routes to take. Para continuing to check out the east here, finds the new Kasuto forest tile, but we don't know what's under it. About to find out, though. We did just take an encounter accidentally.
And there is a palace, so hammer required. Oh, sorry, it's only 4 gems, and that's not GP, so hammer technically not required, but...
But P1 is a very nice palace to run regardless when you're in a race.
No one's ever going to see P1 and be like, man, I definitely don't want to do that.
No, where's P5? I'd rather jump into P5.
Yeah, or P6. Xarnax demonstrating how kind of unpleasant P6 can be.
Yeah, pretty linear up until this point. This is an elevator room here. We'll see if he heads in the same direction. Nope, he's going to go left this time.
Yep, the child will... Oh, man, Para taking a bop at the last moment.
There's your 3rd P bag. I don't know if you caught that on Xarnax's side. It's for 500.
Yeah, we had seen one earlier from Para. The desert tile had a 500-point bag on it.
See, I was under the impression that the drops from the drop pool were different from what was placed in the overworld. I'm not sure on that, but I really don't know some of the logic in this thing.
I'm gonna be honest. I was looking at that section of the code just yesterday and have already forgotten how it works. So, I do know at the very least the drop pool works that way, but I have not looked at how the P-bag generation for item placement works necessarily. Man, Xarnax just getting absolutely pincered.
Yeah, the red iron knuckle, red staff will sandwich. Some people have to pay for that type of action, but Xarnax is getting it for free.
Gonna get the item from 6. Just a cross.
We'll see if he tries to go in on it again here. No, gonna skip it.
Yeah, at the very least, Xarnax only 20 points away from a level, but it's probably Magic 4. Given his leveling so far, I don't think it's likely that he's going to take it, considering his options as far as reflect versus shield. Just going to stab that Doom Knocker back into the pit.
So this is a dead-end room. Whether Xarnax knows it or not, I don't know. There could be a P-bag at the end of it, which is why he's going down here. But if he does go all the way down, you can see that the blocks, very easy to go from right to left. But if he wants to come back, those are going to be 3-tile-high jumps. They need to be perfect jumps on the way back, moving left to right. Makes it a little tricky, especially when you don't have the glove to break them on your way, moving right to left.
Yeah, nope, Xarnax was in fact just getting that last bit of experience and says, man, 6 sucks too. I'm out of there.
Well, he needs to get to the east. That is, or maybe he's going to go in on 3 at this point. Maybe he's going to go back to 3. I don't know.
I don't blame him. I'm sure what Xarnax is thinking right now is, I don't want to do Death Mountain. I don't want to do Death Mountain. I'll do anything else but Death Mountain. And unfortunately, these palaces just not giving him anything he can get for progression. And here he is in Death Mountain.
Yeah, we did not see the item in 6 still, correct?
We did. Xarnax got the cross.
That's right.
Which, disappointing for sure.
That's right. We just saw it moments ago, just completely blank. Because I was thinking we saw the P-bag in 3. I don't know if we saw what was in 2.
I don't think we did see what was in 2. I think Para found the boss very quickly and just said, nope, I'm out.
It's going to be our last location here in the east for an item on Parasite, other than 7 magic containers to the woman's basement in New Kasuto. If this is the raft, this could be big. Oh.
Okay, that could still be the raft.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an awfully jar-shaped raft, but if we don't get the raft from New Kasuto, then both our runners gonna be joining Xarnax and then just digging palaces for items game.
Yeah, Xarnax is about to grab his hammer here in the spell tower. I wonder if that'll trigger him to go back to the west to check very quickly for that hammer-blocked cave. We know it's just a heart container, but maybe Spec Rock that he saw on the way north as well. I don't know. We're seeing him kind of trace the footsteps of Para at this point. We haven't seen him break anything open. Again, ultimately, we're looking for potentially the raft or that other connection, that other connector cave to Maze Island, whichever one leads there. Not sure, but as we had seen early on in the race, the hint on King's Tomb, again, which Xarnax doesn't have, is that the glove is in Maze Island.
Yeah, and a big sighting from Perry here, though. On her way up to Darunia, she did get a sighting of what I believe is the raft tile.
Oh, so it is not the raft, because the raft tile is in Death Mountain as well, so that means we're looking for a cave.
Yeah, could still be just hanging out all the way up in the north here. It could be in Death Mountain still.
Yeah, so that did trigger Xarnax to go back and get the heart out of Trophy Cave. He does have 6 hearts, which is 1 more than Para has. I don't know where that additional heart came from.
I have to imagine maybe it came from 2. It didn't. I think that's the only thing at this point that Xarnax has
that's possible,
spent a lot more time in than Para. Oh yes, and Xarnax does have a hard container marked as being in 2.
That's right. He does have they both have useful trackers up, which I am not looking at, admittedly.
So yeah, Para, now that she knows that the raft is not her progression, gonna start hugging the walls all along the east, looking for that cave, hoping it's here and not in Death Mountain. Thunderspell kills the blue Lizalfos, but not the red. 300 points for the blue. 200 for the red. Good returns. Good XP if she needs to grind out some more.
Yeah, that's definitely noteworthy right there. Yeah.
Our River Devil just sort of hanging out in the middle of her road, being like, "Yeah, I got this."
Getting some sun. Actually, it looks like he's kind of burned to a crisp, so maybe he has too much sun.
Yeah, and I think Paris checked most of these caves, and I think she's... Okay, yep, gonna head back to New Kasuto to see what this item is. But we know it's not gonna be the glove, or the raft. I guess it still could be the raft, but we know that it's not the glove and the raft isn't required, so
yeah,
not going to be progression, but maybe another hard container.
Yeah, I don't think. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say I don't think any number of hard containers is going to be looked down upon in a 2-life seed coming into GP.
Probably not.
Especially because Para is still pretty far behind on experience. Xarnax, having spent all that time in palaces, is going to mean that he is 1 attack and 3 life levels ahead, I believe. Maybe only 2 life levels.
Yeah, spent a lot of time in palaces for sure. Unfortunately, unable to place any of those gems at this point. Dips into 5 as a result. So we might get to see that legendary Guma kill from Xarnax here, as I've been talking up for several races that I've calmed for him so far, and we've yet to see it. So let's hope, fingers crossed, for a good Guma fight here.
Orange Lizalfos showing that he may only have 1 HP, but it cannot be defeated by regular stabs.
Ooh.
Gonna need the fire spell to get past that, and unfortunately, we know the fire spell is spell, which is immediately going to transform the enemy into one that is worth significantly less experience anyway.
I don't know if Para has exhausted all of the caves on the east. I don't know if she's checked every single cave that's available. I don't know if she's going to start rechecking caves or if we're going to start going back into Death Mountain at this point. I'm not sure what you're thinking at this point, whether you get in palaces or whether you're actually still looking for Maze Island.
Yeah, she may just not be convinced that she's found all the caves. It's definitely worth retracking. It's kind of the worst feeling in the world in a randomizer losing a race because you spent a whole bunch of time doing unnecessary stuff when you just missed a cave somewhere that led to where you needed to be.
Yeah. So Xarnax dips out of P5. That was interesting. He saw a room that was glove/fairy blocked. There were breakable blocks on the bottom. It was a 3-tile high hallway corridor there from the left side to the right side. 2 of those tiles are taken up by blocks that, of course, require the glove that he doesn't have. But there's that one empty tile right above those breakable blocks that you can ferry through. He did have enough magic to ferry through that, chose not to, or maybe not entirely familiar with that move in that room, but does dip out of P5.
Yeah, I think Xarnax may have just, speculatively gone into that P5, and once he didn't find the boss quickly, just said, yeah, you know what, forget it. I'm here in the east. I got stuff I can check.
Entirely possible.
Para's looking around for something, maybe trying to just get a level up before up at Aang. Setting up a big screen of Lizalfos to Thunderspell down.
Yeah, even with this grinding, still 1 life level behind Xarnax at this point.
Yeah, she's got informational advantage here on the east, but once Xarnax starts going back into palaces, he's seen quite a number of rooms and quite a number of them. But I think it's largely gonna, at this point, gonna come down to who first finds that connector to Maze Island. From Xarnax's perspectives, any of these caves could be the glove and his ticket to advancing in the seed, but Para knows that Maze Island is the way to go. Partially because of that hint, and partially at this point because she's explored pretty much everything else.
Yeah, something that could just happen is that Xarnax just stumbles upon this cave that leads us to Maze Island, and then obviously just checks it, even without having the hint. So, he's got 7 magic containers now. He's going to head back into New Kasuda. Okay. Going to give him a 7th heart container here.
Yeah, for only starting on 3, been a nice, pleasant change of pace to actually be able to get heart containers instead of staying on 3 the whole seed.
What are our 2 available palaces on the east other than Death Valley? We've seen 5 and 1. That's what they are. 5 and 1. So that means that either Death Valley has GP in it or GP is on Maze Island, because we haven't seen GP yet.
Yeah, I think those are going to be more or less the same in terms of difficulty to get to. Yeah, Para just doesn't want to go into Death Mountain. think she may be confused. She thinks she's missing the cave somewhere here on the east and just checking all of these walls, but unless we've all missed something, I don't think it's here.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I would feel if I was in the runner spot at this point, whether I would just double check everything on the east before going into, the cluttered Death Mountain before you're just aimlessly checking caves in there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what my move exactly would be, how fast I'd be covering this overworld. So, that's all dependent on whether I wasted time in palaces, how much I felt like I might be behind. I feel like if that hint for the glove was in the open as it was, that my opponent would definitely have it. But in this case, Xarnax does not, currently at least. And so, I don't know how I would be routing this exactly.
Man, Para having missed her encounter skip decides just to do this the vanilla way, and man, is this scary.
Oh!
So close! Very impressive comment. At the very least, though, this is going to give her magic back for Fairy Spell, and she can just safely fly across. Yeah, Death Valley the intended way is just absolute, just the worst thing in Zelda 2.
Yeah, it's interesting. We don't really have to deal with it too much, not normally in the randomizer, but the randomizer does tend to throw some garbage in there that you generally don't want to have to deal with. So I don't know, every once in a while you are forced into a fairyless Death Valley that is part of progression, and that's something that will make even veteran runners potentially quit at times, because it can be very frustrating to get through. As we're seeing, no cross for Para there. The cross on Xarnax's side going to come in handy in those situations if he has to do such a thing.
Yeah, it's not one of the better items, but man, when it's useful, it's really useful.
That's the cross and the candle there on those low resource early games for sure. We also see Xarnax coming into Death Valley.
Yeah, hopefully with this death, this is going to signal Para. She's going to have to go back through Death Mountain anyway, so maybe she'll do some digging, see what she can find. At the very least, I don't think we've seen Hammer Cave either.
No, we have not.
I don't know what could be useful there. I'm trying to look at these caves, trying to figure out which ones pair up. You're always trying to find, this cave pairs up with this cave pairs up with this cave, but I don't quite know where this cave goes. It's a candidate to check.
Yeah, you're always looking around for that one cave that sticks out. And in this case, it looks like we should have two caves that stick out, one being Hammer Cave and the other being our connector to Maze Island, is what we assume at this point, that our runners have exhausted all those spots on the east between the two of them. And so we're assuming it's in Death Mountain, but we still might be wrong.
Yep. Para deciding just to take a quick break, clear Palace 1. It could never be wrong. It's the shortest palace. You need to put gems in anyway. And here's Horsehead, and there's Horsehead.
Horsehead's room expertly decorated here with the nice blue, with the contrasting wild green curtains. I do approve, Mr. Head.
Yeah, that 1-up going to be useful wherever Para decides to go next, either trying to re-clear the Valley of Death or spend some time digging through Death Mountain.
So we have P4 here in Death Valley. Last I remember, Reflect was still pretty expensive, although that was when Xarnax had less heart containers, so maybe that was Magic 3 where it was 69. I don't think he's picked up a magic level in a while, so it might still be 69, but he does have 112 magic, so he's made up for that expensive cost of it at this point.
Yeah, also, Xarnax's next level up is Magic 5, so even if he does dip a little bit low on magic, he can recover it that way.
Perfect. Yeah, P4 could be quick, P4 could be trolly, I don't know. We all have bad experiences with P2, P4. Some people like to jump in those head on, and they're like, oh, they're super simple and super easy. I've been trolled by a P2 and a P4 before, so we'll see what Xarnax can show us and how fast Karak is, how close he is to the front of this palace.
Yeah, unfortunately, these left's not going to take us there. but sometimes you gotta go left to go right.
That's life advice right there. Terrible, terrible room to have this this bridge room here with this stupid blue Staphos. I hate that guy on the bridge so much. He doesn't have the glove, so it's not like he can break the blocks to try to let the Staphos fall into the lava. But he also doesn't have any danger of breaking the blocks and falling into the lava himself. But still trying to get through that Staphos as he just pogo sticks in that low ceiling. Just very annoying to fight against.
And Para continuing to have difficulty with these invisible Moas. But just enough to do a cast of life. 4 bars of recovery. Pretty good, but...
Oh, that is nice.
It's a touch expensive for Xarnax. It looks like significantly cheaper here for Magic 5 for Para.
Oh, also jumping into P4 here as well. This is going to be potentially Para's 3rd gem. And Xarnax hoping to place his first one over 53 minutes into this race so far.
Yeah, it can't feel good.
Yeah, probably on Xarnax's side, probably on both of their sides, they're feeling that their opponent has the glove and they're ready to go. They found Maze Island, especially this far in. Para has the hint, still unable to find Maze Island, knowing that's where she needs to go. Xarnax not having that information, but still it's at large to where that palace is at, where you're going to eventually need to go into GP regardless. So I don't think Xarnax has seen P1 under the forest tile at this point. I could be wrong on that, but he's seen P5. I don't think he's seen P1.
Yeah, I don't think he checked it. He didn't have the hammer when he first came in here. Here is Karak. Xarnax does have enough to cast Reflect, but gonna be RNG whether Karak decides to cooperate with her here or not.
This is always very dicey.
I know there is a manipulation strategy that was developed. I forget which runner developed it, but it was part of an attempt to do damageless runs. But I have absolutely no clue how it works or whether it works in the randomizer or not.
I don't think it's going to work from an elevator boss room. The elevator boss rooms seem to operate differently than your standard entry from left to right transition. So I don't know. That is something Trails talks about when it comes to Helmet Head. Helmet Head operates differently when you come in from an elevator as well. He'll shoot his bullet out of his helmet a little bit at a different rate early on than he does if you just walk in from the left-hand side of the room. So yeah, when it comes to RNG manipulation, you'd probably have to do some extensive testing when it comes to the randomizer and elevator boss rooms.
Yeah, Xarnax here at 457. Sort of taking his levels as he goes, but it's turned into a little bit of an awkward situation.
Yeah, I think he wants that attack level. But then again, as a 1-3-1 runner, maybe not. Maybe he's just here to flex. That's fine. I'm all right with some flexing.
Yeah, I mean, any all you need is enough to cast Thunder, right? Anything else is just gravy.
He looks to be sticking around for the item though, so
yeah, I mean, for all he knows, this could be the glove, and if he dips out and leaves, if the glove is here and he decides to abandon it, well, that's pretty much race over.
Yeah, and it's this is not the place you want to come back into, all the way digging into Death Valley to just get the item out of here.
Oh, gotta do these perfect jumps with the bubbles flying around. Xarnax making it look easy.
Yeah, I'm glad I mentioned that earlier. It's coming into play now. It didn't come into play in the room when he was in there before, but now it does. So, yeah, it can be tricky. You've seen multiple people kind of check that dead end, not knowing it was a dead end, then having to come back and being like, oh no, these jumps, they need to be pretty perfect. Xarnax had a console player, though, so he's got like perfect input latency and timing, and I'm pretty sure he's Mr. CRT as well as a vanilla speedrunner. So, he's got all the bonuses to where emulator players would be probably a little bit behind on input latency and things like that, making those jumps a little bit tougher.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that also just Xarnax has got a decade plus of experience playing Zelda 2. I don't know quite how long it's been, but I know it's been quite a while.
Xarnax into the item room as Para finds Karak.
Yep, Para unfortunately going to have to take an intentional death here. Oh, I missed the item.
It was our 8th heart container, and Xarnax is pausing to think. Gonna
Yeah,
stay on
'cause
the east.
he still hasn't found one yet. Yeah, Z2 damageless is an incredibly difficult run.
Yeah, for a game with so much RNG, that's got to be incredibly frustrating from just a human player perspective.
But Para placing her third gem. And yeah, similarly, 4, 5, 7, just the natural progression of experience.
So at this point, if Para finds Maze Island, that is the glove, and that is also GP. So she is on a mission currently, and if that is uncovered, if its location is uncovered very soon, then Xarnax is going to have to hope for a very difficult GP. Otherwise, he might be out of time at this point.
Yeah, if he had picked up if he had been able to pick up the gems from those previous palaces he was in, I would say, it's fairly close. Xarnax with palace advantage, and at least in terms of exploration. But Para is here in Death Mountain, and she's on a mission.
Unfortunately, looks to be checking kind of a standard pass through there. Yeah, taking a lot of damage in the process, but I guess not that much damage. Taking a lot of hits. Life 7 doing a lot of work here. That was only 2 heart containers worth of damage.
Yeah, I don't know how experienced Para is with the V4 Death Mountain generation. It's definitely, for some of our older runners who haven't gotten quite as much experience on V4, it's very different than navigating the old way.
Xarnax with the downstab horsehead flex as well. Wasn't fully able to keep that surf going at the top, but showing us that you can get up there and you can do a little fancy jackhammer on top of horsehead as well.
Para getting into this little section here, but just a dead end.
Well, at least they have the idea that we have as well, that this cave is probably here in Death Mountain somewhere. You just got to find it.
Yep. Yeah, this one looks like it's going to lead just to that little dead end section just west. I think the space in Death Mountain we've seen the least is the eastern side. There's sort of not a great access to it. Just you can't just walk into it from the river. You're going to have to take a pass through somewhere.
Yeah.
Para just Life 7, 6 containers, just sort of running face first into these enemies. Whatever, I'm going fast. I don't care.
Yeah, looking around myself, I don't see anything that sticks out, but we're getting just real quick glimpses of our cave layout, but nothing is really just sticking out here.
Yeah, it can be difficult sometimes because while the caves lead, in the direction they point, you never know, is it going to be close? Is it going to be far? And looking at that absolute mess of north and south facing caves off of the east end of Death Mountain, that's going to be just awful to check.
It also gets a little tricky as well if you're not familiar with something like the vanilla layout of the caves. When it comes to the elevator networks, there are like elevator networked together caves that can kind of be placed in a weird way when it comes to the randomizer. It still makes sense in terms of the way that they're connected north, south, east, west, but they're connected together in such a way to where it can be a little confusing if you're not entirely familiar with that logic. Something like this one is going to have four ins and four entrances, 4 exits, and there's going to be 4 caves because of that. But now that she came in, went up, and went right, it's going to put her in a different spot than what she would have just had just moving left to right, something like that.
Yeah. All I can say for this Death Mountain is at least it's not vanilla.
Yeah, at least it's not vanilla shuffled.
Yeah, we have been talking about all of these different various rules that V4, controls the Death Mountain generation with. Vanilla Shuffle ignores all of them.
There's our cave right below the Maze Island Bridge, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't quite pair up, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like it stands alone, but it could be Hammer Cave. It doesn't necessarily have to be our Maze Island connector.
Yeah, because this looks like it connects through just to the one to the right, but that one all the way up by the bridge doesn't connect. Okay, this is going to take her into this, previously mentioned awful network. And just south of here, there's a north-facing cave west in this little connection that I also think, I'm not sure, it either pairs up to nothing and it's good, or it just pairs up to that dead end all the way in the north. I'm not entirely sure which one it is, but we'll find out shortly. It's just useless.
Yeah, this is a really little hidden area back here. Xarnax also moments ago finding the P-Bag as the item in P1, up and out of there, and so he is back off to look around into Sunken P-Bag Cave, which I guess he has not cleared out just yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too much longer before Xarnax finishes out his exploration of the east and, doesn't have the hint that he needs to go to Death Mountain to get to Maze Island, but just by process of exhaustion, having checked every single cave and every single palace, he's going to be like, well, that's the only thing left.
Yeah, this would be a little bit closer if Xarnax had that third gem placed. That P2, the fact that he did not check the bottom of that entrance elevator is really such a quick boss to find and get out of there. And that's something that Para obviously has on that Xarnax does not. Otherwise, same bosses across the board, 1 and 4 on top of that.
Yeah, hopefully though, when Xarnax does find his entrance to Maze Island, I think he's thinking about it. Yep, and he's going
south.
He's looking at these caves. We know that Xarnax is somewhat of an expert at tracking Death Mountain. Has made some lovely maps.
As Big Slamu has pointed out, Xarnax is actually really into cartography. So, yeah, we might see some Death Mountain maps in this after this race as well, if we're lucky.
Yeah. But yeah, Xarnax has checked, just a quick glance at his tracker, has exhaustively checked every palace at every location that remains. I don't think we saw the item in 5 for him. Other than that, this is the only thing he has left to check. And he finds it immediately!
Yeah, this is a good find, but this is unfortunate because he's still got to go back and do another palace. He's going to have his glove. He knows GP is here by process of elimination. He's got to go do another palace. So he's going to find the glove and then step out and then have to come all the way back, which Para may have found all this stuff by that point in time. And this is now where the clock is running and you're hoping people are making solid decisions, even though it's going to be mostly RNG and guesswork based. So I don't know. I don't know. It's still close, but Xarnax has got to go place a gem somewhere after he finds this glove.
Yeah, hopefully he takes an up A and makes his way into 2 really quick. Oh no, it looks like that cave that you liked, Mariah. I mean, I liked it too, but it looks it just connected to the elevator network.
Too funny. One of those. Yep, one of those. Tricky.
Yep. I mean, it's Death Mountain can be a time. It's why our runners like to avoid it generally, unless they have no other choice. But Xarnax is going to find his last item here. It is going to be the glove, and hopefully we'll see a quick up and A, and he's going to go explore the palaces. I don't know why he's staying here.
This needs to be an up and A 3 seconds ago. He needs to be in a palace.
He knows this is GP.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
He's already been in all of the other palaces. Now, Para has a hint. She knows that the glove is in Maze Island, but has not been able to find where Maze Island is because it's sort of hidden into a weird spot in Death Mountain. And it's a race now between how quickly does Para find this glove versus Xarnax realizing, I know everything. I have 100% go mode. Let me clear these palaces.
Yeah, because he has a tracker that tracks the continent location of the palaces, and they're all lit up with E's and W's. So GP is obviously sitting there on Maze Island. He needs to get the hell out of there, as he did, and get into a palace.
Yep, and I think
go pick 3.
Yeah, we're going to see. I think we're going to see 2, and we're going to see 3. They're both here on the west.
Oh, it's a 4-gemmer. Yes, yes, correct. Am I?
Yeah, it's a 4-gemmer. Yeah, he's got to.
My God.
He's got to do 2 more.
Oh man, this changes everything. I'm totally out of it here. The 4-gemmer, man, Para doesn't have the 4th gem. Okay, I was operating at the end there. I was operating at just 3-gem requirements here. This changes everything as Para walks into this island.
Para has found. So, how fast could Xarnax finish this palace versus how fast could Para dig out this maze island and find the glove? And it's probably going to be pretty close. We know Para's only advantage at this point is that she's completed P2, but if Xarnax dips into P2, takes that elevator straight down, he's going to be in and out in a minute.
If he goes into P2 and he does not check the bottom of the elevator, I am going to have a stern talk with him after this race, because this is something that he has done a few times in these races, and the boss is right there, and it's cost him.
Just a dead end here. Xarnax not recognizing it is going to head to the end here. Yep, just a P bag and an up A.
See, that's a vanilla dead end, so I don't know if he gets a pass on that one. That is not a community room.
Yeah, I think there is at least one community room that also dead ends with the same start.
Yeah, well, Hammer Cave is actually reused as a vanilla as a palace dead end, so it looks similar to that. Yeah.
Para has picked up her glove, and the clock is ticking. She's almost certainly going to zoom straight to Palace 3. And I gotta say, at this point, I think Para's probably very slightly ahead.
We know you're biased, Elendar. You're looking for Xarnax to lose.
Hey, bias aside, there's still GP, right?
Yeah, there's still GP.
You could be 10 minutes ahead heading into GP and still lose a race very easily.
Now, hoping for something kind of trolly. This has been kind of a trolly seat already in terms of routing, with the Maze Island requirement having both GP and the glove on it. Although, to be fair, we don't actually know if the glove was required at this point, although it's a very good chance that it is. And it obviously being buried in Death Mountain. And so I'm hoping that the troll continues as we move into GP, although it'll probably just be Darkling 2 rooms in. It'll be over, right when we walk in.
Yeah, worth noting at this point that all of Xarnax's additional dungeon exploration does mean that while the levels are the same, I guess he has picked up Attack 5 as well. But 2 extra heart containers going to help him out quite a bit in GP, as he's found the boss. one stab it takes to take down that horse. Wow, Attack 5 doing work.
Yeah, Attack 1 and Attack 2 felt like it was a little low, but I think we've kind of brought it up with Attack 4 and Attack 5 now.
Yeah, and with any luck, Xarnax, I think he's still got all of his lives plus that extra life. If he goes into 2 and clears it quickly, he's actually going to be able to roll both of the extra lives from Palace 3 and Palace 2 over into GP, which could be huge.
That could be big, yeah.
But here's Para, a much quicker time on Palace 3.
Doesn't want P2. Going to head over to use the raft tile to hit the east and hang out in Darunia.
He wants to pick up the upstab, presumably. I don't know if they started with the upstab.
Yeah.
And this is just going to be spell, which they already have. Or sorry, this is jump.
Oh, it is jump here.
Town orders.
Jump is a good spell. He's had the kit for a while though, so yeah, I don't know. Probably didn't want to walk all the way back to the north side of the east here. It has to be 4 gems for Para, back into Death Mountain shortly, and into Maze Island, and then into GP.
Curious now that Xarnax already is here in the east, whether he's going to try to take on 5. He does have a decent amount of exploration in it, but it's going to be, for him, either 5 or 2. And I gotta imagine you just stop A and do 2, right?
We're not witnessing that.
Okay, Xarnax has figured, I've explored so much of this Vive, it can't be that far, and we know that he does not fear Guma, so...
This is a very trolly Maze Island layout, though. You've got to go all the way to the top side of it, all the way to the one side to the top and then back down around the. It's like you got to just trace the perimeter of this place in order to get to GP. It's like the full clear of this Maze Island. Get the pedometer out because you're going to be counting your steps here.
Yeah, the boot's not really helping the situation any.
Well, if anything, we might get to see a very fancy Goomba kill. That's I'm at least excited for that.
Yeah, with this attack 5 looking pretty strong, it's not going to take too long either. But here's hoping he finds it quick, because at about 1:13:20, Para is here in GP.
Let's see what awaits us. Immediate into a glove block, so glove was required here. Not that they would have skipped it this time around, but confirmed and immediately linear. So we'll see how long it stays linear.
Yeah, even if you did somehow make it into here without the glove, the very first thing you would do upon seeing that block is go out and check Maze Island, so... And I think Para has at least one extra life that she's carried over from her palace completion as well. I don't know if she updated at any point.
I actually was not paying attention. I think you might be right, though. Oh, the King Bot in the Heat Man room there. Very tricky. Always got to check for that.
Yeah, man, just you know, bots are frequently the trolliest enemies of the game, and King Bot just continuing to be the king of the trolls.
So if we've seen two of them now in two different rooms, we might see a lot of King Bots in here. So
here's a Thunderbird sighting. Para thinking about whether she wants to take... She does have 4 lives right now. Thinking about whether she wants to use one of those to be able to fight Thunderbird. And it looks like she's gonna.
Yes.
Those extra lives are sort of a one-time resource, and you know, spending them to fight Thunderbird seems like pretty reasonable use of it.
Xarnax still looking through this, what looks to be a pretty linear P5.
Good setup from Para, getting 3-hit, 2-hit cycles. Looks like a Fireball does about a bar and a half, a little bit more.
Yeah, attack 5 is going to be very useful here, as we saw. It was pretty powerful already. Item room for Xarnax.
We've seen pretty much everything else in the seed, so just a red jar, not a surprise. That's so close. Para probably 1 or 2 more slashes, but only 1 hit away and gets it done. And she'll get her life back for it.
And that 1-up drop. So, yeah, life wasted to get the magic back. 1-up is returned for that, but still damaged, pretty damaged, leaving the fight.
Orange Bird Knight guarding the path.
Yeah, hoping to see a little bit more of that. I like the Bird Knights. They're fun to get around.
Yeah, I don't mind when there's an orange Bird Knight here. When it's like a blue Bird Knight in that tiny little path, especially when you're heading down the elevator, it could be just an absolute nightmare. Because you've got to ferry out, but you don't want to get bopped on the way through, and...
Yeah, we come up into a 4-way there. That's our second branch, or our first branch post Thunderbird. So we might have a large chunk of GP back here. Another elevator room here.
Yep, this is what GP is. It's just as soon as you beat Thunderbird, here's a million forks. Pick one.
And the whole time you probably thinking, man, I wonder if it was just down and right from Thunderbird.
Right? You're constantly thinking, you know, my opponent's going to take 1 random left somewhere, and that's just going to be it. But you do what you can. You explore all the paths. You try to keep track of where you're heading, identify loops quickly, and with Xarnax,
emoji room.
Yeah, with Xarnax spending this much time in 5, her lead's just getting bigger and bigger.
I don't know what's up with this 5. This 5 seems very long and linear in many ways. I'm not sure. All right, that emoji was all right. It was dealt with nicely. Could have been worse. We've seen worse in this tournament so far.
Yeah, Para picking up a P-bag, actually not that far off from Magic 6, and here's our first dead end in this L7 room. Yeah, Xarnax, he's got to be running out of paths to take here.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen this room before, but then again, in the randomizer, things can obviously, you can have duplicate rooms in a palace. So I don't know if this is a duplicate or the same room that it keeps passing through. I'm not really sure. I mean, in my defense, I am watching a little bit more GP at this point. So, ooh. Oh, makes it nice.
Yeah, Magic 5, that fairy spell, very cheap. Looks like only about 20 points. And with 7 bars, going to be easy to use to bypass any number of difficult combat encounters in GP. There's another drop exit room. I don't think we've seen this one before.
Yeah, I think we're in new territory on Xarnax's side as well. I'm not sure we saw that ferry room. This is going to be an elevator room for him, hopefully into Guma's room so that he can get into GP as well.
Ooh, even at life 7, you take a body block from a orange bird knight, it hurts. And here's Guma, and there's Guma.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, this strong attack 5 plus Xarnax's tons of experience just absolute makes it a joke. And he is going to plant this gem and should be in GP fairly shortly. And you know, he's still got a chance. You know, there are a whole bunch of paths, including that fork that's pre-Thunderbird that could absolutely still be the way.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of lefts at this point. Para also just took another death in this room, which is a fairy block, but seemingly unknown to them, there's little breakable blocks that are above the crumble bridge pieces that does hold a 50-50 chance for a red jar, so they could have saved that life and just kind of tried to farm a red jar out of there. But currently they're on their final life, so...
Yeah, at the very least, you know, if it spits out a bird knight, you were going to die anyway.
Yeah, and this is another branch for them as well. We saw the floating block, I call it the Heatman room, but the floating blocks there. This one had a fairy up on top of it, whereas the first one we saw was at the bottom of Thunderbird's room, or below Thunderbird's branch, and that was that one didn't have a fairy, it just had a king bot up there. So there's a different room, another branch, and so we're still walking around looking for something.
Yeah, and all we're finding is more left-facing pass-throughs.
Oh,
and bird knights. How
this
rude.
could be it, though.
It could. We're finally going up an elevator.
Oh, wow.
Into another left.
Yeah, I would be very hesitant to take any drops I saw at this point. There were so many of these open ceiling rooms that act as drop destinations or landing rooms. Oh, speaking of a drop.
Yeah, I mean,
really
at this point, you might as well take it, right?
Why don't you just lead one room back? Oh, different.
Oh no, that was a different L7. That was the reverse L7 room.
Yeah. Oh, boy. That could have been it. Darkly could have literally been
absolutely could have been it. Welcome, Raiders from Zelda Speedruns 2. We've got a real close one. Para's gotten some time advantage coming here into GP, but just absolutely getting ruined by a million lefts. And Xarnax is coming. Should be entering GP any second now.
Yeah, we'll see if Para takes the same Thunderbird route, or is just going to check straight right here.
Yeah, there's so many forks that are still outstanding from Para's perspective, and any one of them could just be Dark Link immediately. Para gonna check past the King Bot stairs.
Oh, wow.
Wow, if Xarnax took this right when he came in and Para took a different route, it would have been over.
Yep. Wow.
And this deciding to take a different path absolutely paying off. Apparently this was the freest of free GPs.
It would be interesting if Para takes a death here. That'd be a tall order, and then Xarnax walks in and steals it.
Wow, what an ending. And Xarnax is going to take the elevator anyway, and GG's to Paratroopa.
Well, it's about to be a 1-minute finish afterwards here.
Oh, man.
Xarnax probably seeing the finish in the race room himself as he walks in here.
And Xarnax, seeing that he's already lost the race, is going to grace us with intended strategy Dark Link.
Wow, that could have been quite the plot twist there at the end of this one. You get baited by the Thunderbird kill, and you're like, I'll just keep going. And then the entire palace is back there, whereas Darklink is just chilling in the corner by himself, sipping Mai Tais in the purple neon light room.
Should be just one more hit. We gonna see a soft lock? No. And GG's to Xarnax, finishing with official time of 1:24:47.
Yeah, that is official time difference of 1 minute and 23 seconds there. Wow.
And that's even with Xarnax doing the intended strategy Dark Link for some time.
Wow, to think that those palace digs that were unsuccessful early on in the game, the fact that they just Xarnax did just not check the bottom of that P2 elevator, it could have just simply played out in his favor had he done that. That was something that was super simple, and I think in the grand scheme of things, you can nitpick little stuff here and there, but the fact that the boss was right there in P2, right at the base of the starting elevator, and that could have simply been a clear. That could have been that additional palace that he needed, and unfortunately, never cleared P2 because of that a dig and then up and A out of there, and spending all that time in P5 as a result. Welcome in, Para. GG on that seed here to this afternoon. Quite a seed.
Yeah. The comment I wrote was, why is every tournament seed I play forsaken by God in some way? Because all the seeds I've played have been like low health, like drawn out affairs, just not great. But I won this one.
Yeah, right there at the end there, you and Xarnax, you got baited by the Thunderbird. Oh, actually, Xarnax might be in here in a moment here if his voice permissions have been fixed. Let's wait a second here.
Yeah, so I went to Thunderbird because... Hang on just a second. Sorry.
Okay, I'm just going to do a check. Xarnax, do you have voice permissions to speak with us back again? Or is it just a listening?
Seems like Discord's dislike of Xarnax continues.
Yeah, he's had some permission issues in these commentary rooms specifically. He can speak in the regular channels, but unfortunately can't seem to speak in the commentary channels for some reason.
Oh, that's very strange.
I'm not sure. Last time it was, I forget who it was exactly. It was Soulblade, I believe, was the other restreamer who couldn't figure it out. I don't know if Star has any idea on that, or if in the future Trez could potentially look at that, because I think Xarnax is still, Xarnax saying that he still can't speak in these channels. He's shadow banned in these channels for some reason. Not sure. Anyway, you were Perry. You were talking about how you got sucked into Thunderbird's path.
Yeah. So the thing is, you start with only 2 lives in this seed, which I hate. And though Thunderbird wasn't that far from the start, I went in with 4 lives because I got one of them was sitting in Palace 3 and the other one was from the boss. So I had 4 lives. So I'm like, well, this is my one and only best chance to fight Thunderbird. So I should do it now. Just because I'm not sure if I'm going to get Thunderbird in one try. I did. But I figured if I need a few attempts at Thunderbird, even though he's not that far from the start, it's best to do it now. So it was just slightly more efficient to decide to fight Thunderbird, because there was a strong possibility that I was going to need to. And I didn't need to, because Dark Link was right at the start. And the other way I didn't go. So that wasted probably about 10 minutes. Something like, probably not that long, but a fair bit of time. I didn't realize I didn't realize how close this is going to be.
It was pretty close to 10 minutes. Xarnax was heading into Maze Island just as you had taken your game over and were re-entering. And if you had gone back up instead of taking that right, then it would have been a very different outcome.
I was like, I need to not be... I can't be stubborn here. I need to try going right here to see if this goes somewhere. And it did. Because I was like, well, it could be Dark Link. It could be right there. I can't ignore that possibility. And it ended up being true. So very lucky that I went that way.
I think we're double checking on Xarnax's permissions on voice again, or maybe you're just back to listen. I pulled him in and he pulled himself back out. So I think he's doing some testing. Anyway, it was very interesting. Xarnax, both of you had a bit of trouble in the beginning. It was a little punishing. 3 heart containers, 2 lives, a lot of damage being taken, not a lot of damage being output. And both of you just taking a lot of deaths and game overs there. So both of you were pretty neck and neck for a while. You ended up with a hint. The one thing Xarnax didn't have is that you ended up with a hint from King's Tomb, which told you the glove was on Maze Island. So you had it in your mind the entire time that I need to get to Maze Island. Where is Maze Island? Because that is probably what we're going to need is the glove here. And Xarnax never had that. And he did do some early palace digging, unfortunately unsuccessfully for him, which ultimately would have cost him here. So, for example, I think Elendar agree that the big, or anyone who watches this back would probably agree that the big, what was it? Xarnax went into P2 first, but he didn't check the bottom of the starting elevator. And that is where Helmet Head sat, was right at the bottom of the starting elevator. And so he dug into P2. I believe that's where he got the cross, if I'm not mistaken, because that was the one item he had that you didn't. And after that, it was pretty early game, and so he took a death, took a game over, and dipped and just left that place. Whereas then you walked in, I think you screwed around for a little bit in a direction, then you came back to the starting elevator, hit Helmet Head, and got out of there, and that was your first gem at that point. And Xarnax never came back into P2, and unfortunately ended up doing P5 as a result, which was horrible. And that was a huge time loss on the P2 versus P5 thing. And that was really again, we were talking about this, you can kind of nitpick on small changes and mistakes here and there, but everything's playing out in real time and no one really knows how the seed is unfolding in front of them. So we're all making real-time decisions. But in the grand scheme of things, it really looked like the P2 and P5 thing hurt Xarnax and gave you a big advantage, because it was even such a big advantage. You cleared so much of Death Mountain. You almost full cleared Death Mountain. And you still had time to do that because of how much time P5 was taking on Xarnax's side.
Yeah, so I have a lot of things to say about this one. So first of all, Palace 2 actually made a mistake, because I could have... I stopped at the fairy room, the Palace 5 room that you need to use fairy in. I actually could have cast fairy there, I think. And I just forgot that I still had the ability to do that, and I reset out of that. I wouldn't have done that if I was thinking, but I just decided, no, I can't go through here, so it's reset. That ended up being good for me, apparently, because I went down and found the boss right away, who I decided to fight just because, like, I don't like to do palaces that early because of levels. It was only like 300 experience to kill the boss there, but I needed levels so badly. Like, I really wanted my magic to get up there. So I just took it anyway and said, okay, well, I'm done with that. I don't have to come back here. And then, yeah, finding Maze Island was... I don't know if there was another way besides Death Mountain. Like, I don't know if there's a way in from the Eastern Hyrule, but I never found it. I don't think there was, though. I think that was only one entrance.
Yeah, it was Connector Cave to Death Mountain, Raft Tile right there at the entrance as well, which led to the east. The Maze Island Bridge led to... where did the Maze Island Bridge lead to?
It was from Death Mountain to the east.
Okay. Oh, that's right. And then, of course, that final Connector Cave that took us to Maze Island. So yeah, that was our connection shuffle in today's seed. Right.
Didn't the raft go from Death Mountain to Eastern? Or am I mistaken?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I thought about it. I'm like, well, the raft doesn't go there. And Eastern Hyrule didn't feel promising. I didn't feel like there was any other place to go. That's actually why I went into Valley of Death, because I was like, well, it could be on the other side of Valley of Death. That happens sometimes. It didn't happen in this case. That was actually risky, because I went into 4 without glove, and that could have blocked me. That could have wasted a lot of time going through there. But it ended up being pretty good to go to 4, actually. It wasn't too bad. So I was like, well, I think I haven't seen the other connection out of Death Mountain. And I also haven't seen Hammer Cave, which I was looking for earlier. Wasn't looking for it by then because I knew the glove was in Maze Island. But, back early in the seed, I had been looking for Hammer Cave just because I needed anything to get me through this seed. Like, I was just looking for any help at all. So I was like, well, I haven't seen the other end of Death Mountain Cave, the Death Mountain Caves. So I guess I'll have to search there. I couldn't really think of anything else to do. And it ended up taking me like ages to find the way to go, because it was in that little nook. I'm assuming that other cave was probably Hammer Cave. There's another one that I didn't go into. I'm assuming that was probably Hammer Cave, but I didn't have time to check it. I probably actually would have lost the race if I checked it. So I just left that behind. But yeah, I think I pretty much 100% full clear Death Mountain. That's not really my fault. It's really hard to organize Death Mountain, especially when it's randomized like this, because you can't I mean, I could try in some way to pull up a map and like I could screenshot it and cross out things I've seen, but that would take a long time. So I just kind of went through and just hoped that I would eventually find it, and I eventually did. So it worked out. That's all I got to say about that.
Making a map of Death Mountain, you say? Well, Xarnax is a pro in that from one of his earlier races. It was funny that he did end up making a map in, I believe it was the first race, round 1. So that was kind of an inside thing there. If you had watched it, if anyone had watched that, he screenshotted a bunch of Death Mountain shots and ultimately drew lines for all the connections and everything. And because he was kind of stuck. That's the result of being stuck.
Yeah, I just tried to remember what I had and hadn't seen as best as I could. And actually, it's hard to tell, but in a lot of cases, I was actually right. I was I don't think I've seen the other end of this connector, this Death Mountain connector. So I think I'm going to go through this one. And a lot of the times that I thought I hadn't seen the other end, I was right, but it led to a dead end anyway. It's just so eventually I just ran out of options. I eventually found it.
Yeah, both of you were pretty reluctant to dig into Death Mountain early on, and rightfully so. I think most runners don't want to dig Death Mountain unless they absolutely have to or have a hint that something is in there that they want. And so we weren't sure, Elendar and I watching this side by side, we weren't sure if between the two of you, you've exhausted all the caves on the east. We weren't entirely sure about that. So we're thinking...
No, I'm not either.
Yeah, so we're thinking it's either still east in some corner somewhere that we didn't see, or it's definitely in Death Mountain at that point. So ultimately it came to Death Mountain, and by the time you were both digging into it, you had 3 gems placed. Xarnax only had 2. And it was really that P2 difference that he had to go. He went to clear 3 afterwards, and then he went into 5, and 5 was, again, just absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, so also, as far as palaces go, I didn't want to go to Maze Island with only 3 gems, so I'll just have to come back here afterwards. But I was like, well, any of these palaces could be glove blocked. I did 2 because I was, just looking for anything to do at the time. I did 1 because I wanted... Actually, it was a dumb reason. I wanted an extra life to get through Valley of Death, so I did 1 because I knew that the boss would drop a life. But that also gave me Magic 5, which was absolutely critical to this seed.
Yeah.
I got really lucky with level ups because I did a little bit of thunder farming in Eastern Hyrule just because levels were so bad in this seed. But getting Magic 5 gave me cheap fairy and cheap life, and that broke everything open as far as combat was concerned. I don't know how to do fairy feet. I don't feel like learning, so getting through Valley of Death was a little bit of a problem for me. But once I got that, then I was able to get through Valley of Death, which I wanted to see if that led somewhere, and it didn't. But since Palace 4 was there, I decided to do Palace 4. But then I had 3, 5, or 6 to do, and I was like, well, this could still be glove blocked, and I know where glove is, so I might as well do Maze Island first. I don't think it ended up being glove blocked, but I still went back to 3. That was also really lucky. I didn't want to get 6 because I hate fighting Barba, and I just don't want to. But I got Rebo Neck instead. And 3 was really easy as compared to apparently 5, which I never went into, but apparently that was terrible. All the palaces I did were pretty short, so I was happy about that part at least. So I got quite a bit of good luck here, despite the fact that Death Mountain was awful. Other than that, I did pretty okay.
Yeah, it seemed totally fine. I mean, this was one of those seeds where kind of full clearing, just trying to figure out where maybe some of the extra hearts were, the extra magic containers for, like you say, the expensive fairy that stayed expensive until about Magic 5, and the low experience early on, which led to some grinding, the high damage, the low damage output from Link, and it was a perfect mix for all this full clearing, and both of you had the full clear. Xarnax, I think, did more full clearing simply because he didn't have the hint for the glove on Maze Island, which was unfortunate, but at the end of the day, you both really did end up meeting up at the same point pretty much as the race time shows us.
By the way, funnily enough, I actually forgot where the hint the glove said, where the glove was supposed to be. I couldn't remember because I also had a hint about something in the east, which I think was the magic jar. And I couldn't remember if it was in the east or in a maze. So I had to go look in. I probably would have done this anyway, but I thought that glove could be in New Kasuto. So I was really happy when I got the 7 magic jars, really quick, just bam, bam, bam. And I was like, but it was just a heart container, I think. So I was like, oh, that's kind of disappointing. And I was like, okay, it must be in the maze then. I must have misremembered the hint. And I was like, where's Maze Island? So that was kind of a funny thing there.
Yeah, just recap what Xarnax is saying in chat here, because we'll lose the chat replay on the future re-upload on YouTube. But Xarnax was saying that he felt that difficult linear start would work to his advantage. And we, well, at least I thought so as well, simply because Xarnax is a vanilla speedrunner, especially at the low percentage categories. And so we thought that brutal start would potentially be more punishing on you, Para, and less punishing on Xarnax.
I would agree, yeah.
At the end of the day, though, you actually had the boots before Xarnax did by just a few minutes, and so they kind of opened things up for you earlier on, and you were kind of off to the races a little before him.
That's actually worth talking about, too, because I am not a Zelda 2 speedrunner. I mean, I dabble occasionally, but I'm not really serious about it. I prefer Randomizer. And I'm not a bad Zelda 2 player by any means, but I'm definitely not as experienced in the really finer details of combat. I kind of wing it most of the time. So definitely, harder seeds are not great for me unless the other player also really has trouble with it. I'm better at routing and good planning and decision making, really. But early on in this seed, I actually had a nice stroke of luck. I killed a red Tyra somehow at 1-1-1. I don't know how I did it. I just kind of ran at him and stabbed him, and he died, and he gave me exactly enough for life 2. And I don't know if that was what made the difference or not, but because I don't know, I didn't get hit before I got life 2. But I was really happy to get that level up when I did, because I was like, this could take a while. And I think I did a little bit of grinding to get it to 1, 2, 3, because I was like, I just need something here. And, maybe these mobs will drop some P-bags. I can work off of that. And they kind of did. Like, the P-bags in this were really terrible, but at least there was a 200 early in the cycle. So I got that 200. That kind of helped a little bit. And then I was really upset to find the boots, actually, because I got Magic 3, and that let you cast Fairy. I was like, okay, I can cast Fairy to get through Saria, get Fire, and then see what's on the other side of that town. And then I got boots. I was like, well, now that doesn't matter anymore. But nothing was on the other side of Saria anyway, and Fire was terrible. So it didn't end up mattering that much. But I was a little bit upset about that. But then having the boots, I apparently got them first, so that was good.
Yeah, we saw the Saria check, the opposite side of Saria check, from Xarnax's side first. He did have castable Fairy.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and then we saw there was absolutely nothing over there. We're like, okay, well, it was definitely wherever Para's headed, and I think you had the boots shortly after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
I still had a heck of a time exploring. I don't know why I couldn't find the there was one island in the southwest that I missed for a while, but I don't think it hurt me too bad to miss it.
Yeah, and when you both got the hammer, you both came back to the west very soon afterward to check that final hammer-blocked cave, which ended up being Trophy Cave, which ended up being the Heart Container, and then you both hit up Spec Rock on your way back to the east again, which I forget what was in there exactly. I think it was another magic container.
Yeah,
it wasn't
it
anything
was.
too. I mean, magic containers are very nice, but
yeah.
it wasn't. I don't think it was another item of any sort.
No, although the magic tuner was nice to find. Never unhappy about that.
Yeah, the expensive fairy, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that ended up working out pretty well.
All right, well, this puts you at 2-1 moving into the
somehow.
next round. We'll find out pairings later tonight. Alan Heffley's going to be rolling them, I guess, actually at the top of the hour. It's 7 o'clock Eastern. He's going to be rolling them over on his channel. More information, whoever's in the Z2R Discord will get that. Xarnax, this drops you down to 1 and 2. This does put you at the same record as Elendar. Elendar was Elendar was perhaps rooting for Xarnax to maybe take the fall here and drop down to 1 and 2, so Elendar and Xarnax could meet up here in potentially round 4. I don't you know.
I think we're both looking forward to it.
This is a grudge match. You try to meet up, but sometimes you don't get that opportunity, right?
It can't be a Zelda tournament without me facing Xarnax. That's how it goes.
It's in the official rules.
And it's been the case for me and Xarnax too. I think we've faced off like at least 3 times, maybe 4 times by now. So this is kind of a little bit of a rivalry that I think that he has the edge in.
Yeah,
But I won this one today.
Yeah, anyone who's 2-1 moving into these last 2 rounds, again, we'll just recap. We've got 5 rounds of Swiss. This is the end of round 3 here. This is the final race of round 3. Moving into round 4, then we've got 2 last chances for anyone to run at 1 and 2 or 2 and 1. 3 wins gets you into the brackets. And so, yeah, good luck to all of our runners, you two today, and everyone else who's still in the running and moving forward. You two, Elendar, good luck. But who knows who you're going to be up against in the next round.
Hey, it's gonna be a good race regardless, especially if I get Xarnax. It just doesn't matter win or lose. That's always a fun match.
But any final thoughts? Anything that I missed, Elendar?
Nope, I think that's it for me. Thanks to Star for tracking and doing the read streaming, and thanks for coming with me, Mariah.
As always. And GG to both of our runners, and I guess that's it from myself as well. Para, any final thoughts?
No, that was a really interesting race. Thank you for watching the Adventures of Pomji. That was the hash for this run. I don't know. It's just a nice name. Thanks for commentating this one. I'm sure it was really, really interesting to watch, even though it had some downtime when I was looking for stuff. That was definitely one of the more interesting Z2 races I've played. GG to Xarnax. That was really exciting.
Real quick final thoughts from Xarnax here in chat, because he's unable to join us in voice. He says he's never sour about losing Max Rando because the variance is too absurd. And I do agree, the RNG does play into a lot of races at times, and sometimes you just can't outskill the RNG, and just sometimes it's you go left and your opponent goes right, and left is left is one decision, right is the other, and one of them works out much better than the other. And sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but I have the similar thoughts on that. So yeah, similar feelings. So that's it.
Yep. GG's, guys. So give our runners a follow. Paratroopa and Xarnax. Also, thank you to Elendar and Mariah for doing the commentary, and to everyone in chat for watching. This will be it for us here. Coming up ahead on the CSR schedule, this is, we have one last restream tonight. It'll be at 8 Eastern on this channel, the MMR Co-op. And we're going to Randomizer Co-op Tournament Season 1 semifinals, saving Private Deku Soldier versus Majora's Masks. So that'll be interesting. Didn't realize they'd actually gotten to semis already, huh? Got a variety of weekly races coming up throughout the week, and then of course so TH will be doing over on twitch.tv/TheEnimalHeavily. We'll have the next round reveal in about 40 minutes. You can go check it out at TH's personal channel, and then we'll have those round 4 pairings on the schedule soon. So look forward to seeing you all over there in about 40 minutes, and later this week for more races. But this will be it for us here. We're going to go over and say hi to our friend Eon. She is currently doing a Attack 1 Challenge NMG practice. So let's go see how that's going, and thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.